Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of season 6 of the Micro Vlogcast. We are here with Danny McGee and Wendy Schlett, leaders of our sustainability team. We're talking about our brand. It's not really a brand new service because we've been doing all of this work for a long time, but it's a new bundling of a bunch of our services and into an annual managed service offering, and we're calling it Flourish. And I think it's good to kick off a little bit of why we think this is important by talking about where a lot of companies are at right now and how they're feeling related to sustainability and ESG issues. And so I think for me, one thing that I want to lift up is I believe that companies, and especially people at companies that we work with and begin relationships with, they want to do well. They want their businesses to treat humans well and treat the environment well, and they want to make the world a better place. But that can end up being hard to do and operationalize. And so we really know that our companies that we work with and many others want to do the right thing. But they're also feeling a lot of pressure to do the right thing the right way. And so there's a lot of pressure on companies right now. And then they're also really, really overwhelmed by all the different ways that doing the right thing is most right. and that shows up as certifications and standards and labels, and there's all of these things and pressure coming on them. And it's hard to sort of navigate all of that confusion. And so part of why we're designing this service is to help our customers become proactive instead of being reactive. And they're not being reactive on purpose, it's just there's so much pressure happening. And so I want to just hear a little bit from you guys. Maybe there's a story or an example of how some of this plays out in real life. Maybe you can speak to one or two examples of a company. It doesn't have to be specific, but this dynamic of people wanting to do the right thing, but the pressure and the amount of options can become overwhelming.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
Sure.
So some of the examples we get, a number of the companies that we work with tend to be on the small to mid-size range when we first begin to engage with them. And lots of them grew very quickly. They had an opportunity, a product that they wanted to get out into the market. They had a lot of success, and they moved quickly to grow and expand. And then on the backside, they started realizing, there's all these other things that maybe they needed to do around their business, because their initial focus was let's get up and running. And when we start engaging with them and help them from anything around health and safety to environmental management systems to capturing their data around energy, at the end of the effort, they're like, oh my gosh, we feel like we grew up. We understood where to go and how to get there, where before we didn't. We knew our product, but we didn't know how to get there. And now you helped us become this mature company as we grew.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that oftentimes the focus on what the end result confuses the process, right? So you look at reporting, you have TCFD and GRI and SBTI and CDP and all this acronym soup that ultimately is all based on the same kind of structure and data. And that's kind of the theory here, right? And so by focusing on that acronym soup, you're focusing on all of the very kind of confusing ways and wondering where you're going to apply yourself and what the result is going to be. But kind of resetting to kind of, as Wendy said, back into the basic structure of why we're doing stuff. It allows us to take a step back, take a breath as a company, and approach it with a more kind of structured process, and then sets you up to pick the ones that make sense because you focused on what really matters and the data itself that has impact.
Yeah, Danny's right. There's just so much out there that people just don't know where to start. You know, and they're getting pressures from all sides of whether it's the public, their customer, their employees, and they're struggling to know which is the right one thing, if there is just one thing. And many times there's 100 different things,
Yeah.
and they don't know which one to pick and start and choose. And
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And that's really a lot of our motivation behind putting this service together the way that we have, is so that companies can be empowered to feel confident in the decisions they're making and make them more proactively and more efficiently. So we'll be talking about what goes into the service in future episodes. So stay tuned. See you next week. No, they're not going to be more 5-minute ones. We'll be quick now.